greatly improved the medical condition in the region. But many emergency medicines cannot be delivered to the villages on time due to complicated paperwork procedures. So she is calling for a more efficient medicine verification system in Tibet. Will she get a satisfying answer during the 2 sessions? You can follow her story on our website. Meanwhile, the CGTN opinion team will release the first episode of Youth Dialogue today. 6 international Yanqing scholars at Peking University share their experience and opinions on China's policies and economic development. Now, Tongxuan will give us a preview of our TV coverage today.
Well, VR video of the Terracotta Warrior sounds like great fun. Thank you, Liu Chen, for that information. Today in our TV studio, we continue with our exclusive coverage to learn more about the country's development plan. Just now, officials from the Ministry of Commerce met the press and detailed how the government is going to boost domestic demand and promote what Premier Li called an all-round opening up. Also, this morning, our very own Hou Na raised questions to NPC deputies in charge of the legislative affairs. What did she find out on China's progress towards a rule of law society? If you missed that, you can visit CGTN website and mobile app to check it out. Coming up in the afternoon, we will have first-hand updates from our BIS reporter Xia Cheng and my colleague Wang Hui at the press conference on the management of state-owned assets. It's been over 3 years since China issued guidance to deepen SOE reforms. How are they being implemented? Tune in to CGTN at 3 p.m. Beijing time to find out. And for those of you who have your eye on China's financial sector, you don't want to miss the light feed scheduled for 10:30 Beijing time tomorrow morning. Officials from the People's Bank of China, as well as the State Administration of Foreign Exchange, will brief the media. Will the reform go far enough for foreign investors? How do they plan to further improve the investment climate? Stay tuned for all that. But for now, back to you, Pandong.
Thank you very much, Tongxuan. And now, Liu Chen, tell us how online users are feeling about our special series, Ask China. What are the questions that have gained the most attention?
In the 3rd episode of Ask China, Dr. Song Wei from the Ministry of Commerce answered public concerns over business environment in China. She welcomed business operators around the world to invest in high-tech manufacturing and information industries in China. She indicated that overseas business operators will receive support from the Chinese government. For example, foreigners who work in Shanghai's free trade zone may apply for Chinese green cards with simplified application procedures. And in the first episode of Youth Dialogue, Ankur Samir Shah from the University of Edinburgh in the UK says China seems more orderly than in previous years. Looking at courseworks, he says he sees fewer people jaywalking by crossing at red lights. It's a small development, but it has changed his perception. Walking around in Beijing, he feels like it is a developed country. If you want to know more about these people's first impression of China, stay tuned. Now let's go back to the TV studio. Tongxuan, what do you have from the TV side?
Well, thanks, Liu Chen. Lots of discussions here on CGTN TV studio after that closely watched press conference by China's top diplomat Wang Yi. One of the hot topics covered by Wang was China's revived Silk Road plan. Why there's so much negative coverage of the Belt and Road Initiative in the Western press and from the Western policymakers, despite many developing countries embracing a focus on infrastructure and integration. Well, China expert Dr. Robert Kuhn says more needs to be done from Chinese officials to convince naysayers of its benefits. It's a win-win initiative both for China and the world, rather than a charity project, he says. On the economic front, Edward Lehman, the senior foreign fellow of the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, has his eye on China's newly drafted foreign investment law. He thinks there will be an increase in foreign direct investment in China as a result of the policy move. In regards to China's war on poverty, Hannah Hangen, the CEO of Development Reimagined International Development Consultancy based in Beijing, says China is a front runner in fighting against the hardship. Two figures, 13.9 million and 500 million, illustrate that China seems to be leading the world in reducing poverty. But they also indicate, unfortunately, that the battle here and the world against all types of poverty and inequality needs to be intensified. Keep watching CGTN to get more insight and analysis into the latest issues affecting China and the rest of the world. Pandong, back to you.
Thank you very much, my colleague Wang Tongxue there. So, Liu Chen, today we're joined in the studio right now by Mr. Shen Yiyang, Senior Green Finance Consultant from the Asian Development Bank. I understand you've been trying to find out major concerns people on social media have. So tell us about some of the frequently asked questions for Mr. Shen here.
So the development of private corporations in China and the fast-growing e-commerce in suburban areas have been praised by many. And people are eager to know how China made these achievements in an efficient and sustainable way. So one Weibo user asked if it is now easier for a private-owned company to get subsidies or financial support from the government and banks.
So let's get this question to Mr. Shen. Is it easier now for private businesses to get financial subsidies or support from banks, from financial institutions?
Well, I would say there's still a lot of improvement to be made. However, start from last year, we have already seen that the Chinese government already put a lot of attention on the importance of private sector companies, their contribution to the economic development in China. So there's a tax cut, there's also promotion measures, try to increase the chance for the private sector to get loan from the banks. I think all these issues are very positive. In addition, China also is in changing, for this guaranteed trust issues. So now we have APP to know all the situation of any company just by using cell phone. So for the banks, it's also easier for them to know the whole image of each private sector companies. So in that case, I think in the future, the risk for the lending to the private sector companies will be getting better. So I'm very, optimistic about the future. I think private sector will make bigger contribution in the next decade.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shen and Liu Chen. That's the answer for your question. Also, what about some other questions also interest many?
Thank you very much. And the second question is from Facebook user in Tanyo in Thailand. She knows that China has made progress in relation to poverty in remote areas. And she wants to know what measures and policies China has taken during the process.
Well, Mr. Shen, so let's talk about this. China's massive campaign to eliminate poverty in the country. What more measures can we expect in the coming near future as it's now entered a critical stage?
Well, I think China has been doing great on poverty alleviation in the past few decades. Everybody have seen that. So the very important thing is the precise poverty alleviation program. That one actually changed a lot of life of these poor peoples in the mountain area and in the rural region. What is more, I think start from this year and last year. So those building those new rural industries to open up opportunities for the rural poor people to get into business. I think that will create more opportunities for the people in poverty. In addition, maybe many people didn't notice from last year, China changed the education system. That means they have this compulsory education until high school. That will fundamentally change the human resource, quality of the rural area. I think that will be the future, major, driving power to make everybody, out of poverty.
So it's more about teaching a man fishing rather than give a man fish.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shen Yiyang from Asia Development Bank. Also, many thanks to my colleagues Liu Chen and Wang Tongxue. Every day for the next 2 weeks, Global Watch and CGTN's new media team will bring you the latest on China's annual political season. We have some more stories on today's coverage of the 2 sessions on the show, and live coverage will also be available on the CGTN app. Do stay tuned with all those to come up. You're watching Global Watch on CGTN. Stay with us.